that delay. How many people are doing online marketing now? And we have an indication it is difficult. How many people think it's easy? Well, we get it. It's not easy, but it is an opportunity. And if you're like most of our clients, we know you're busy trying to run and grow your business. If you're like most of our clients, we know you're busy trying to run and grow your business or nonprofit. You're wearing many hats. You don't have the luxury of time to figure out how to keep up with the latest tools. And it's not just the tools. Well, you also need to understand the fundamentals of marketing so you can get the most out of them. Again, not easy when you're a business owner by trade or a marketer by necessity, or you're a solo marketing department or a small marketing department, or really of any size. Technology is changing so fast. How do you know what you should be focused on to make the best use of your time and money? And that's what we really want to help you with today. Our goal is to show you how all the pieces work together and point out what you need to pay attention to get real results for your business. You'll leave here with a simple checklist of things you should focus on to set yourself up for success. Because here's the thing, when your organization is online, you open up new opportunities. Consider that 69%, and now consider the 43%. 43% are experiencing significant growth with online sales. But 45% of small businesses don't have a website. So why aren't more businesses online? Well, it's hard. It's difficult, and that's the general perception a lot of people have. 40% believe digital tools are not relevant. 38% believe that tools are not effective. And 58% say there's not enough experience with digital tools and no time to learn. It is quite overwhelming for everyone. There are 5 steps to unlock online marketing success, though. Once you know what you're trying to do, you can better understand how the tools available can help you do it. We're going to make sure that business can be found online, stay in touch with new and existing customers. We're going to learn how to create a plan today, encourage and engage, and we're going to show you how to measure that success. So here's how we're going to cover all of that. How people find you, how to set yourself up for success, and how to encourage new and repeat business. Before we get into the meat of everything, I want to give you a little bit of background on myself. I'm VetoKukuru, Consult Vito, marketing consultancy. We develop marketing plans. We take action on the plan, social media, just about all facets of marketing. We do a lot of digital marketing with a lot of different types of clients. I'm the founder, CEO. That's my email address. That's my website. This is being brought to you on behalf of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, of which I'm the president of the board of directors. So this is a webinar dedicated to everyone in that area and everyone in general, of course. And we do a number of activities at the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, including these marketing webinars. And our next one is next week, The Power of the Inbox, Tips and Tricks for Successful Email Marketing. Now, my email address is up there for a couple of reasons. One, if you'd like the invitation to the next webinar next Wednesday, 2 p.m., or if you'd like the slides, or if you have any questions. I do offer a marketing consultation for people. If you have any general marketing questions, there's no charge for that. I do that on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and the board. And I do it also because marketing is confusing. So I do my best to help. I also am certified in constant contact, which means I've taken a lot of classes and I'm able to sell it. So how do you get most business today? Most business is built on relationships. And here's the thing. People like to do business with people they know, people they like, and people they trust. Where does most of your business come from? Many small businesses tell us word of mouth. Online marketing provides more opportunities to strengthen those existing relationships and build new ones so you can extend the word of mouth for your business. And as a small business, you have a huge advantage over big businesses because you actually know your customer. Many times you interact with them in a big way that big businesses just cannot. It's those relationships that keep your business top of mind and give you an edge. A little later, I'll show an approach called engagement marketing so you can see how you can bring new customers to your door. But for now, just keep this in mind. Even though we're talking about online marketing, we're still talking about engaging with people. So focus on people because they're what's most important to your business. You're going to be more successful than those who are chasing every new tool, new trick, and new hack. We're not going to talk about silver bullets here today because, quite frankly, they don't exist. And you know this intuitively. You have to work at it, and I know you're not afraid of doing that. So a good rule of thumb to keep in mind about everything we talk about here today. If you wouldn't do it if you were face-to-face with someone, you probably shouldn't do it online. And my goal will be to offer some guidance so you understand what's going on, so you know where to invest your time in a way that makes sense for your business. So let's discuss how people find you online. It's important to recognize word of mouth now happens online, whether people are mentioning their favorite business directly or consuming and sharing content they find useful or entertaining from those businesses. Your business has an opportunity to be part of more of those conversations. If you're part of those conversations, you increase the chance of people recommending or seeking you out when they need what you offer. If people can't find your business when they're looking, they might not even know that it exists. So here's what people often find, right? They see the Google business listing on the right, the paid ad, the organic result. We want to get involved in all of that. Google My Business listing, that's free. Paid ad, of course, you have to pay some money for that, but it's not as expensive, and there's a lot of great training on Google for that. And the organic result, search engine results page, that's the SERP part. You can fix with some of your back-end technology or the back-end part of your website through the description tag that you may or may not be filling it out on Wix or GoDaddy, on those website builders, or on your WordPress. So all of this is available to you if you have that website. And a lot of it is free. You need to make sure you can be found and that information is accurate. Make sure that you're there, because if you're not online, prospects can't find you. When they search, you want to make sure that your business and what it should be found for. Are you showing up? And how are you showing up? And it's always good to take a look at the general phrase like cheese shops near me, in addition to just generic cheese shops. And what do they do when they finally click through and when they find out what's going on? Now, a lot of that you can find out on something called Google Search Console. Again, that's a free tool when you set up your Google Analytics, which is another free tool. But what do you want them to see? Your website, your social media channels, other business listings. Make sure that you're there in every single way you can be. And a lot of those tools, again, to find out what people are searching for your specific site, you can just hook up very easily. So is this what they're looking for? The website? Are they looking at for your Facebook page where their opinions can be formed? How reactive you might be there? And are you paying attention? Are you taking a look at those listings, those customer reviews? Are you seeing everything that's happening? Now, this is sort of a multi-pronged approach that you want to keep in mind. You have all these tools, and you want to monitor them a little bit and take a close look at what's going on. You want to be found, and you want to start building relationships, and you want to respond to those reviews. That's part of building that relationship. Respond to those Facebook comments, part of that building that relationship, and look at that Google Search Console and those analytics to see where the possible relationships can be formed, the age groups, the people's hobbies, their affinities. All of that you can get for no charge at all. So set yourself up to be part of the conversations that are happening online. Make sure you're present, engaging, and interacting. Provide the resources to help people talk about you. Online marketing works best when you're not just dumping links and shouting to the masses. Be present, be helpful, be human. When people search for your business or things related to your business, you want to make sure your business shows up. When they click through, you want to provide what they're hoping to find and make sure the information is accurate. So how does it all come together? Now that you know how people are finding your business, how do you make sure you're set up to take advantage? Well, let's take a look at those foundational things you need to consider to be successful. Now that we have a good understanding of the ways people find you online, what should you do to make sure you have a strong foundation in place? Let's talk about the tools you should use and some tips to get you started. We don't have time to talk about all of them in depth today, but we do have the resources to help you go deeper. And one of those resources is blogs.constantcontact.com. That's blogs.constantcontact.com. And of course, you can always email me for some of these resources, or we can have a conversation. Again, all of that is at no charge as part of the relationship I have with the chamber, and just trying to spread out that information I have that people can use that is no charge and low charge. So what should you have? Well, of course, you want a mobile responsive website. That's going to be your online hub, because mobile commerce sales now account for about 33% of all on-site conversions. So you have to have an email tool as well, social channels, and up-to-date business listings. So here's your home page. Let's talk a little bit about the home page. What are the questions this page should answer? Well, start with what's your product or service. You don't have a lot of time. Be clear, be specific. And who's it for? Is the visitor asking, is this for me? Who's your ideal customer? Do you serve a particular group or industry? And so what? Why would your potential customer care? Why should they choose you? Is there something about your product or service that makes it unique? And what should visitors do next? Make a purchase, contact you, request a demo, give an email address for resources. So that first slide, the home page, first page they see, what's that product? Who's it for? So what? And what should the visitors do next? Now the About page. Get a lot of questions about the About page and what should be in there. Well, think of it exactly what it tells you. What are you about? What's your story? What problems are you trying to solve for your customers? What obstacle did you overcome, and why is your work important to you? Why should people care? How will potential customers benefit from working with you? Testimonials. How will you give them peace of mind? What makes you or your business different? What are you better at than anyone else? How will you use your skills to help them, and what's your plan for them? So on the About page, what's your story? Why should people care? And what makes you or your business different? Of course, always have a contact page. Where can I find you? Do you have a physical location? If you do, that's how you can qualify for a Google business listing. Where's your company based? Do you have social channels? Where can I find you? What are your hours of operation? Are all locations the same? Are there different hours for support or other functions? And how can I contact you? Maybe there's more than one way. Start with your preferred method. And what should they expect in terms of reply? Will you reply in 15 minutes, a half hour, 48 hours, 24 hours? So that contact page, where can I find you? When can I find you? And how can I contact you? It seems simple, but a lot of people do leave out information. And it's a very frustrating experience. Now, we want to make sure on your website that we use what success looks like in a picture, if you can, for someone using your product or service. Show that success if possible. The About page, show some professional personality, include your staff, you personally, if they'll be working with you, your action shots. You want people to start to imagine what it would be like to work with you. And the contact page, show that physical location if you have one. Show people having a great time. It's important, especially if you have something like a restaurant. Include the map. It's important for obvious reasons. Now let's get a little bit into the email marketing, because that's going to be a big way to drive your business. Why email? Well, email is still ranked as the most effective marketing channels, one of the most effective marketing channels. Why is it important? Well, like your website, it's also an asset you own. The contacts are yours. And if you're doing it right, subscribers are people who have said, yes, I want you to market to me. And here's our website again. We want to ask for those email addresses from our site. We'd also want to often link to our site from email to inform, sell, or to simply keep your email shorter. Email marketing tools are going to track who clicked on what gives you, and that's going to give you insight into what people like and what they like about your site. And when you want to combine some of this data on what people open and what people click, you can take that with your Google Analytics, see the kind of people who are coming to your website, take that with this Google Search Console, and you can start to see what terms people are using to find your website. Then you can combine that with some social media insights and what you're really doing right now by taking those 3 items, email, website data, social media data, and you're building yourself the beginning of a real robust data and analytics type opportunity for yourself. We hear a lot about data mining, data and analytics, business intelligence. Well, some of those programs can be expensive, involve linking a lot of activities together. However, if you just start looking at it, get a feel for it, give yourself a couple of weeks to look at some numbers, then maybe start taking some notes. And I can tell you within a month or 2, you're going to really understand your customers, your prospects, what's going on with your website. And then you can start to take some of that information and apply it to your blogs, maybe to your product mix, apply it to your content on your website. And the first step, like I said, is getting some of those free tools. And of course, it'd be great if you could subscribe to an email platform. There's a lot of good ones out there, and a lot of them will give you great information. And when you talk about the email, it's a great idea to engage new contacts with a welcome series. So they have the box they can sign up. They can give you an indication and permission to email them. And what happens is it'll go automatically onto a list. They'll get a welcome message. Then they'll get an invitation to connect maybe on your social media. And this is just an example, but you can see how a welcome series starts to build that relationship quickly. And it's usually automated almost all the time. And that's another webinar I do, but this gives you a good example. First email, welcome. Second email, invitation to connect. Third email could be an offer, 15, 20% off. Now you're really gathering that person's interest. As far as emails go, I like to send about once a month. I'll include everyone on my next email newsletter and get a sense of what I do. And I do have another webinar about how to write effective email marketing. That's on the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel. I can send you a link to that. I can send you that deck as well. But really, one a month is always great. And I like to inform the people who subscribe. You'll get marketing tips, marketing information, how to raise your marketing to the next level. So I curate a lot of content from different sources, always giving them credit, of course. With regards to social media, the first thing, claim your business name on all channels. You don't have to be everywhere. Ideally, choose the primary channel that makes sense for your business based on your customers and based on your personality. Understand that each channel also has its own personality. You don't have to necessarily post the exact same thing on every channel. Best practice would say you wouldn't. However, a lot of people do. You can have the same theme, but you can also modify it to that channel. Let your goal be to bring people back to your site and get on your email list. Now, people ask me about social media. My general recommendation, be fearless. Not everything's going to go viral. Not everything's going to go have 100% engagement. And what you're going to do is you keep posting, you keep learning, you look at those statistics, you see what did well, what didn't do well, and you start to create more based on what you do well, but you won't know what does well unless you start to take some chances. There's no mistakes in social media. Of course, if you're putting out just some good content about your product, your business, yourself, the only mistakes you can make are the ones that you aren't accounting for. So just take a look at everything that you're doing and see what's working. The reason you want to claim your name on all channels, and I'll give you an example. LinkedIn, if you have a business on your profile that doesn't have a page, it will often create a page for you, and then it leaves it up for someone to grab. And you don't want to lose your business name on LinkedIn because it's very difficult to claim that page once they put it out there. So make sure that you claim your page. And when it comes to social media, here's some more information. Facebook, when you have a business page, you're generally going to be competing with friends, with family news, and now we see a lot of other types of activities on Facebook that weren't there before. On LinkedIn, there's personal to business page. It's more of a professional network. Take a look at how Netflix uses both Facebook and LinkedIn differently. Instagram, highly visual, lets people see what's happening with your business. And Twitter, this public news feed of what's happening now. Pinterest, a board of tips and ideas. Reese's, for example, has a lunch container, a lot of different kinds of information on theirs that you might not expect. YouTube, videos, educational, entertaining. The goal with all channels, get people to your website, build that email list, drive that business. Want to know more about social? Search Social Quick Starter and our constant contact resource should come up. So a lot of information about social channels, a lot of questions I get all the time. Modify your post to suit that channel. One thing we see is organizations using exactly the same marketing copy across platforms. Sure, it's common and useful to sometimes highlight something across, but try and speak to each different way, and your marketing may not be received on one platform the same way it might on the other. We want to keep that in mind, of course. And here's our example of Netflix, but generally speaking, focus on a handful of channels if you can, or you could use a social posting tool. There's a lot of those out there. I do use one, but there's a lot of different ones that you can automate the posting of your social posts, which makes it a little bit easier. Don't waste time on social. Support your business. Because 84% of consumers are more likely to take action based on personal recommendations from a family or friend member. When referred by a friend, people are 4 times more likely to make a purchase. At the very least, claim that Facebook page, Google My Business listing, and the Yelp page. And if there's anything else that is important in your industry, make sure all that information is correct and up to date. Content is what people search for, consume, and share online. It helps with SEO, or search engine optimization. So let's talk a little bit about search engine optimization. What is it and how does it work? Well, it's the process of tweaking that content to improve your ranking in search or organic or non-paid searches. It can result in free traffic to your website. We talked a little bit about that earlier. It doesn't need to be complicated. Yes, there are some technical things that may require some assistance, but at its core, it's about delivering relevant and meaningful content to people you're trying to reach. Simple way is to think about producing fresh, relevant content that aligns to what your audience is searching for. A blog is a great way to answer questions your customers are asking. Don't get hung up on stuffing keywords for the purpose of ranking. Search engines like Google are smart. Write for people, tweak for SEO. Create a calendar to stay consistent. Identify the terms you should be found for. Keywords for your products and services. Start that blog and answer questions. And then on the back end, look for those description boxes. Paid ads. Well, talk a little bit about some of the opportunities you have on Facebook, Instagram, etc. We want to note that it has changed a lot, the landscape. And once you have these foundational elements in place, you can add some gas to the fire by using paid tactics. And they make sense for you to add search engine marketing so you show up in paid search results. You most definitely want to experiment, if you can, with some of these lead ads so you can reach the right people and build your email contact list. LinkedIn has a lead ad, Google Ads has one, Facebook has one. And think about some of these paid search tactics. But first, before you do that, set a budget. Because Google Ads and all these other tools will burn through whatever dollars you give them to burn through in that time period. You can spend $10,000 a day or $20 a day or $20 a week. I always tell people, start with the idea that you need to know what exactly the budget is. Once you can establish that, you'll be less likely to be shocked and get sticker shock when those bills come in from these different products. Google Ads, we all see those paid ads at the top. It displays your information. They're all pay-per-click. And when you're first getting started, I always tell people maybe take $50 to $100, maybe about $100, set up the right parameters and see what your results are and let it run for a couple of weeks. You want to get learnings over time and learnings over a large enough amount of money that you have to spend, because it takes time. All these places now that offer ads on digital, they have algorithms, artificial intelligence that's trying to get you the best results for your money. And it won't work in one day, it won't work in 2 days. Don't get discouraged. Give it a few weeks, give it time, and over time you can start to adjust the ads, you can adjust the content, the copy of the ads, but do, of course, let it run its course. And there's a lot of information on how to buy these ads if you want to do it yourself. Facebook has what's called Facebook Blueprint. That is basically a university that they've set up, and it has courses which are free, anywhere between 3 to 5 minute videos or content, and you can get certified from Facebook. And they are very short instructional courses and short instructional videos on how to use Facebook advertising. LinkedIn is very self-explanatory and similar to Facebook. And Google Ads is a little more complicated, but again, if you want to put in the time, you can learn those pretty quickly. So all of those paid ads, proceed cautiously. If you can rely on someone to give the kind of information I'm giving, I would definitely either give myself or someone you know in marketing a call, because a lot of people in small businesses jump into Google Ads, jump into Facebook ads, and they burn through a lot of money, don't see results, and it's very frustrating, especially when Facebook says, spend $100, boost this post, and we'll reach 3,000 people. Well, you don't want to boost that post that way. What you want to do is set up a Facebook Business Manager account and then apply the correct targeting to your from your business and who the people are who are going to actually buy from you, and then send out the ad. So you don't want to boost that post for $100, reach 3,000 people. What you really want to do is set up the Facebook Business Manager account and get access to all the targeting, and give yourself about maybe 3 hours to take a look at how Facebook allows you to target. And within 3 hours, I can almost guarantee you that you're going to be an expert in Facebook advertising, and maybe an hour or so, maybe LinkedIn advertising. You'll learn a lot. Now, the trick is to optimize it, to get comfortable with the ad formats, and to really look at the information that's coming through. So now some metrics in terms of how do we know it's working? Well, what are the simple things you can do to make sure that it's doing what the promise was? The key thing is to pay attention to the things that are meaningful for your business. Don't get seduced by vanity metrics like follows or shares or leading. Those are leading indicators, but are people visiting your website? Are they joining your email list? Are they contacting you? Are they making purchases? So think about this program in terms of investment for a few months. Think about some of these metrics being defined as success for you. And if you're going to do things like visiting your website, you will want to put in, they're called the Facebook Pixel, the Google Ads Pixel, onto your website. And it's similar to putting the Google Analytics code on your website. Generally, it's a small number of digits, 5 to 7. And you can actually insert that into your GoDaddy, has a box for it on your back end. Wix has a little box for it. WordPress sites can be a little more difficult depending on your template, but applying these pixels on the right pages for the right activities is not as difficult as it sounds. And generally, if you need a programmer, you probably only need them for about an hour to put it on your WordPress site. It's all there and available for you. So across all that you're doing online, you want to be useful. You want to create that website as a resource, use other channels to drive to your website, capture those emails, and drive that repeat business. And that is really what we're talking about when it all comes together. Now, we want to increase the word of mouth for your business. We're going to use this process, engagement marketing. So if you're not top of mind, people might forget about your business. So you want to keep that business top of mind. So we're going to talk about the engagement marketing cycle. It starts with people that have found their way to your door. We already mentioned how increasingly that happens through word of mouth, referrals, searches online, people finding you via mobile searches on apps or through listing sites. It can also be people that have been customers of yours in the past. So we want to build that wow experience. And that experience piece is largely the responsibility of the business, but it's essential for creating the first sale, donation, whatever that looks like, because it sets up Entice. If the customer has a great experience, they're ready to join to stay connected. Sign up on that list and follow on social media. Then they'll engage. At the heart of the cycle is the engagement with customers, campaigns that receive interactions on social media, and the engagement at the heart of that relationship between a brand and its customers. If that brand uses the tools available to it to maintain that engagement and deliver on that promise of engagement made when they ask for the email or social follow, they're on the path to creating repeat customers, loyalty, referrals, all of it. If you want to build that social visibility with the prevalence of social media, the good news for brands, a lot of that engagement that happens is socially visible. Email, event invitations, coupons and offers, everything can be shared today. Word of mouth happens online and is socially visible. It also drives another important aspect of behavior change driven by technology and social media, reviews and ratings. And now almost unlimited opportunities to provide feedback about a brand, a product, and experience about almost any aspect of what a small business does. And because of the rise of social media and mobile-centric apps and information discovery, everyone can find those reviews and ratings. And that's the cycle. You focus on those core elements of experience, entice and engage. A small business can create the relationships and interactions that keep existing customers coming back, and then get them to share that word of mouth and social visibility that will help bring new customers through the door. So think about that wow experience. How are you servicing customers? What are you doing? How are you creating that first sale, donation, etc.? Could be anything that makes you stand apart on your service. And then entice them, engage them, get that social visibility going, and then get those connections and those reviews and ratings. So you want to create that mobile responsive website as a potential source for customers. Capture those email addresses from website visitors. A lot of people find those little pop-ups annoying, but they do work. If you put a good offer in there, if you put, could be 10% off, could be sign up for the newsletter, for more tactics. There's a lot of good reasons people like to have those up there. And because one of the biggest ones is they work, and that's how you start to build your customer database. Get those social media profiles going, and there's that business manager. You make sure that you connect that you're the admin. It can be a difficult process to set up, but once you get that on, then you're not boosting those posts. You're actually creating meaningful ads through Facebook that are targeted toward the people who will buy from you. And of course, engage with those reviews to build trust. Hey, if something went wrong, you can acknowledge it, offer that person to come back in, apologize. Don't be afraid to apologize. Don't be afraid to acknowledge what happened, and never be afraid to make an offer to get someone back in. That's it. Always treat people the way you would want to be treated, and then of course go that extra mile trying to get them back in. And if it's a positive review, absolutely thank them, welcome them back, ask them to spread the word, and let them know how much you appreciate it. And of course, the email marketing, critical, because you can stay in contact. It's low cost to no cost. Some of these platforms allow you great trials. You can get a sense of how they work. They've all come a long way. A lot of people tell me, well, I used it 5 or 10 years ago. It's a lot more sophisticated right now, and it's a lot easier to use. Most of these email platforms, especially Constant Contact, are literally drag and drop. So the online landscape has definitely changed. And once you found these foundational elements, you'll start to see how the world is more complicated, it's more easy, but of course, it's always changing. And those paid search tactics that we talked about and those paid ads, don't let it intimidate you, but do experiment and do some research. And remember, a lot of these places like Facebook and Google, they have online courses that you can take. So let's talk a little bit about wrapping up. Online marketing can help you experience, entice, engage, provide consistent answers to questions, and stay top of mind. And at Constant Contact, of course, I want to let you know there's email, there's website, social ads management. You can buy your paid ads there. You can get your logo made, and there's e-commerce capabilities, all now running on one platform, which is a big change from where it was last. Again, I'm VetoKukuru, Consult Vito, founder CEO. That is my email address, vito@consultvito.com. please feel free to ask me for the slides. Feel free to ask me any questions. There's my website. I'm the president of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. This event is brought to you by Consult Vito and the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Our next webinar is next Wednesday, 2 p.m., same time, different link. It's the power of the inbox, tips and tricks for successful email marketing. There'll be a lot of great information in there. I have a lot of other great information on email marketing. If anyone ever wants to contact me or has any questions, consultations, I absolutely will not charge you. I enjoy having conversations about marketing because I know how difficult it is to keep up because I'm in it every day. And I know how difficult it can be for myself, so I figure why not spread the information if I have it. That concludes the presentation, but we can take some questions and you can ask me about any type of marketing. Hopefully I'll have an answer. If you have questions about email or social or paid, or just want to ask a question, you can ask a question about the chamber. Willing to share all the information I can. Appreciate everyone coming today. And let's see if we have, let's see what kind of questions we have. Let me bring this up. We know that's there. Okay. Looks like somebody has a question on generally speaking, how can you best keep up with all the changes that are happening constantly? Well, I think one of the ways to start is the process of building that marketing plan and doing it from a needs perspective, and then start to build out the research in terms of solving those problems. So maybe you have a problem of, you have 5 or 6 or 7 social media channels and you're finding it difficult to post all of them because it can take a few minutes here, a few minutes there. Then start thinking, well, how can I solve that problem? And that you may want a social media posting tool like a Hootsuite or a Social Pilot or a Hero Post. That can help streamline things, and there's a lot of good features that you can use. And they generally can be very low cost. And as the features ramp up, it can be much more expensive. So you start to think about the idea of what it is you're trying to accomplish, and then see if there's the solutions out there and the information that can help you address that. Of course, there's a lot of marketing plans out there for you to research and to look at and to download, and I'm definitely for all of those, but can be quite time consuming to build it. An entire marketing plan if you don't have the time or the resources, but you can start to address some of these issues that you have maybe as a business owner or maybe as a marketing department that is not fully staffed. Let's see if we have any other questions. Let's see. We have a question about email marketing, talking about what you can look for when all the results come in. Yeah, there's a couple of things as far as benchmarks. One thing people often ask is, how am I doing my click rate? How am I doing as far as the things I'm putting out there and the length? I do have a email presentation, but I'd say in a nutshell, when you're thinking about your email results, there are some industry benchmarks, and you can search industry benchmarks, open rate, constant contact, and Constant Contact every month publishes from the thousands and thousands of customers what the ideal open rates are and click-through rates are by industry. You can use that as a benchmark, but most importantly, start thinking about what it is that you were hoping that they click on and see what kind of click-through rates that's generating. And what you can do is take those clicks and put them on a new list. So if you have every click, and this is on most email platforms, I know it's on Constant Contact, where if someone clicks on an item, that will put them on a new list, and you can start to build that list, and you'll start to know what people are interested in. So for example, if you're a pet store and you had a part of your email was about dog care, cat care, and bird care, and if you segmented anytime someone clicked on the dog article, the cat article, or the bird article, once they clicked on one of those 3, they were put on a new list. Then you could see, okay, these are all the people who are interested in dog care. I can create a new list, new specific content for them, and that gets you closer to what those people want, because now they'd only be getting the information about dog care, and you could send them an email list or email once a month or once every 2 months about dog care. You keep them on your general list. And then you can start to see what else they might click on the general, or you could move them permanently to the dog one if you're finding that you're having more success with them in the dog content. And that obviously would increase your click-through rate exponentially, because only dog owners or people who care about dog care have been put on the new list, which is getting the new email, which is all about dog care. So when you start talking about click-through rates and increasing them, if you can start looking at who's clicking on what and that segmentation, then you can really start to understand where the opportunity might be for each individual person. It doesn't take a lot to do that. It's just one click. It'll put it on a new list. And then you can start to take a look at, maybe on your website, there's no one who's going to any of the content or e-commerce opportunities on ferrets. You notice you're not selling a lot of them. No one's clicking on the email. No one's interested in that blog. But you might be able to, after looking at your social media posts about ferrets, your social media content about ferrets, your website analytics, your email content, and your products and what's selling or not, and maybe now you can make a fully data and analytics type decision and say, that's it. We're not going to carry any more stuff about ferrets, and we're dropping that from our product mix. And so that's how people say that, how can I make informed decisions with data? That's how you can start to do that. So it can become a real tool in addition to the product mix and the product sales to support some of those decisions that maybe your gut is telling you. And there's a lot of good case studies. And we have a partnership with the Chamber with Google, and I do Google, Grow with Google seminars. And there's a lot of good case studies about people who own stores who thought that their target market was X. They look at their website data and it's really Y. And they find out that maybe they can increase sales if they start to appeal to that X or Y, and X and Y target. So there's a lot of good information. And again, you don't have to pay for that. So I would suggest that you start looking at those free tools, installing them, which is not very difficult to do at all, and then trying to make sense of that data on your own. Or you can hire someone. One of the things I do is I help people look at their data and give them some insights and try and get them the right tools and get them hooked up. So, but essentially, the information is out there, and it's just a matter of getting the right tools installed on all of making sure basically that you have every single piece of your marketing is operating to the highest level it can. So it's about almost 1:45, and if we don't have any more questions, but if you, we'll probably end it in a couple of minutes. But if you have a question, please pop on in the chat box or the Q&A. I think we've answered. There's one more question here, and please, if you have another question, drop it in the Q&A box. But right now I have one final question, and it was about some of the other, what do you do with the paid search and all the information, because that can give you a lot of information and insight as well. I think with the paid search, you're specifically setting out to target an individual and a person. It is still great information. But remember, you should be getting what you're going after. So you want to take that information as part of your dashboard and not make it the most of your dashboard. And you want to take the paid information on the paid ads and use that directionally. And you want to try and optimize to make sure you're getting that audience that you want on those paid ads. But obviously, if you're targeting people 18 to 35 who are female, who are into sewing, and boy, those people showed up when you bought that ad, well, that's what your ad was supposed to do. But it may be your website and everything else is telling you that instead of being crochet people, they were more knitting people or something of that nature. And then, the paid ads may need to be adjusted according to the other content and see that campaign go head to head with the first campaign. So sometimes with paid ads, you're really hoping you're getting what you're paying for, but you can use the information on the other sources to directionally help you buy those ads. So you want to use the paid ads information to make sure you're getting results, make sure you're getting the website visits, and compare that to your organic search as well. So that's an important bucket, but sometimes people put too much stock into the paid ads, but you want to make adjustments to the paid ads and make sure that you're getting a consistent story across the board. So I have a client who we have the website information, we have the social media information, and we have the paid ads information. It's all telling us the same story, and that's exactly the way we want to go about building our marketing plan. We don't really want to veer unless we're trying to expand our market or trying to bring in a new customer. Then that's when you start veering, or unless you feel like you need to take the business in a new direction. But if your business is, all indicators of your business are giving you the same information, that would be a step in the right direction and a positive. So you're attracting the same type of people on social media as your website, and now you're directing your ads toward them, and now everything's working in tune. And that's when you can start to also look at putting that whole data analytics program together on that dashboard. You can do something like that pretty simply in Excel. There are a lot of programs that will marry all this data for you, but first I'd say take a few weeks, a month or two, look at those backends, those dashboards, look at the next one, look at the next one, and don't get overwhelmed by it. Just see the picture that's being painted for you and make sure everything's turned on. So I think we've answered all the questions. Anybody else have any other questions? I do appreciate everyone's time. If we have no other questions, we'll start to wrap up. Once again, the next webinar is January 27th, The Power of the Inbox, Tips and Tricks for Successful Email Marketing. We're going to talk about growing a list, creating great content, customization, getting those emails open, and tracking those results. My email address is there, vito@consultvito.com. Please, if you'd like to have these slides, I can send you a link to download. It is a rather large presentation. It'll probably be on a Google Drive. You'll be able to access them there. This video will be posted on the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel. Again, I appreciate everyone coming today. Look forward to next January 27th, which is this next Wednesday. Hope everyone has a great day. And thanks again for coming. Please email me.